Good morning. This is Carrie from Wildflower Art by Carrie.com, and it's Saturday, September 13th. And I am loving this weather this morning here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. We've had some nice storms that came through last night and earlier this week. I've posted some really neat lightning pictures, some beautiful lightning bolt photos from thunderstorms that we had earlier this week in the evening. And last night we had some good rain, and this morning you can see the clouds. You can't even see the Sandia Mountains this morning because the clouds are covering them down there. But it's nice and cool out and beautiful September morning. And I just love the rain because we don't get much of it. So when we get it, my end of the country here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, we relish it. So, but I wanted to do a TikTok live this morning to show some of the blooms that are still hanging in there. We got some new fall blooms coming in with some chrysanthemums. I love mums. Fall mums. I'll show you in a minute. This morning I'll take a walk over here and show you the coreopsis and how beautiful it is, and my corn box is down there with the coreopsis in it. So it's still looking glorious, and we'll have that probably for another month or so into October, and then it'll start to go by, and then I'll cut it all back down to the ground, so you'll see the xeriscaping again. But I have cut back some things here in my planters. This was the New England aster, which had the pretty purple flowers. You can see there's some still left there on this one stalk. But the rest of them all went by, so I cut it back. And it's now kind of starting to leaf out again and grow, but it probably won't put out another bloom cycle because we're getting closer to the end of the season. And then depending on when we get our first frost and first freeze, it'll go into dormancy. It is a perennial, so it will come back next year for me. And then I got lots of cosmos here, and I got some zinnias that are blooming, and these are the coreopsis, cosmos, and zinnias. Those are the big show-stopping bloomers I have in my garden until frost now. So they just add the color, and of course I love the orange color this time of year. Just get you ready for fall and the shift of the season. But the cosmos are looking lovely. Been watering these all summer long. These all reseeded from last year. And if you look at the ground, you can see all the little seeds down there. Those little black little lines there, those are all seeds. And so my husband, when he blows off the patio, it blows against the wall here, and those seeds will come back next year, and I'll have another flush of cosmos. So I just keep having them year after year. But as you can see, for people that are just joining, just want to show you the beautiful clouds this morning. We had some rain last night, and you can see the Sandia Mountains are barely showing this morning because the clouds are so low. But then I also have my marigolds. They're nice and autumnal colored. I like those. And then I do have some hollyhocks that are coming back. I told you I usually, when I cut them back this summer, because they were bending over, that they would put out another bloom spike. It wouldn't be as tall, but you can see there that it's putting out a little one. So those are coming back, and then this one's got buds on it. So I'll get 2 flushes of hollyhocks every season. Like I said, the first flush is really tall bloom spike, and then the second one is, you know, usually a little smaller. I think I had one over here too. Let me see. Yeah, this one. It's got a little tiny one in there. So they're trying. And that's usually what happens every year. Little birdies are all coming for their drink this morning at the bird bath. We just spooked them. I've had a little baby dove, a little fledgling, that was in my trumpet vine. Pan over slowly. Over on that fence. We'll take a walk over, and he fledged from the nest, and he's been hanging out in my gardens, and then every morning he's on my patio, and Mama Dove comes out and she feeds him. So it's been nice to see, but every time, oh, I think I see him. He's right there. Can you see him by that pot? He's sitting there waiting for her on the ground. He's right to the right of that white pot, and he's sitting there. Hi, baby. And he doesn't seem to be afraid of me. I talk to him, and he seems like I know that person in her voice. But the mom will come, and she will feed him. So I'm assuming probably in a couple more weeks, he will be on his way. I kind of checked the internet to see baby doves when they fledge, how long they wait for mom to feed them. And usually it's like 2 weeks. So it's been a couple weeks now, so he should be wanting to leave. There he is. Hi, baby. You waiting for Mama? Yeah. And he'll, I have a picture. Yesterday morning, he was sitting on the fire pit here. And like this morning, I opened the blinds, and he's just sitting like right here on the patio, just sitting and waiting. So he likes it here on the patio. I think he feels safe. And that makes me happy when the animals, they can come to my garden and my yard, and they feel safe, and they know they're not going to get hurt. However, he does need to be careful, because we do have roadrunners. They're a predatory bird, and they will take him down in a second. Same with ravens. We've seen ravens attack dove nests. One year we had our dove nest and our wisteria, and they got to it, and it was tragic, and I'll spare you the details, but so there are predators that could get him. So I'm hoping that he starts to like get off the ground, and he does fly, but he doesn't fly far. He'll fly from the fence on my property and land on it, and then he goes back to the patio. But let's take a walk over here. Here's my mums. My chrysanthemums coming in. Aren't they beautiful? I got several of these cream color white ones, and they're just, I use these in my artwork. So if you go to my website, wildflowerartbycarrie.com, you'll see some of my framed artwork with dried and pressed chrysanthemums, and they're really pretty. Their leaves are pretty too. They're green now, but as fall comes, they change colors like to reddish and purple colors, and so I put those in my artwork as well. And we have roses still, and morning glories are still going. Everybody loved the rain last night. I did. I didn't have to water last night or this morning, so I am just thrilled with that. And then I have some more chrysanthemums coming in here on this end. And then the morning glory I have on my arbor here. And for those of you that don't know, the old vine that you see there, that's an old honeysuckle vine. I had this arbor up front in my front yard, and the old honeysuckle vine started to pull it and make it crooked. And so I pulled out the arbor and I cut the vine, but I left it in there because I just like the way it looks. I love the features of it, and I just didn't have the heart to take it all out because it took so long to grow and be that way. So what I do now is, and it's a nice fall feature, once everything's gone by in winter, you get to see it. So what I do is I just plant morning glories at the bottom and let it climb, and so I get some color that way. And I get to see that during the summer, and then I get the fall, winter look of the old honeysuckle vine that's in there. So, but that's why some of it looks like it's dead, because that is dead, in case you were wondering. And then this is the wisteria, and I have my peach irises, and a morning glory did climb up through here. You can see the morning glory leaves made its way through, and now it's blooming in the wisteria. And so I've kind of just let that go, and I think that looks pretty and adds a little color to the wisteria, because the wisteria blooms basically in the spring, and if we're lucky and we don't get a freeze that comes through in April, we'll have a glorious blooming show that smells delightful and just looks beautiful. But this year we didn't have it because in April we had some storms that came in mid-April, and a freeze that came in and took out the buds. And then we had lots of strong wind that took out the blooms. So this year I didn't get a good show, but last year it was glorious, and I'll post some pictures when I post this video. And actually, if you go to my, again, my website, wildflowerbycarrie.com, I made canvas prints of when it was blooming with the peach irises and coffee mugs and tote bags with those pictures, so you can go check those out. This is my south garden, and this is the trumpet vine the baby dove was in. They were in the middle. I actually spooked the mama a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, clipping the vines. I didn't know she was in there, and then it was just him, the one baby, and now he's fledged. And then he lived in this garden for a couple weeks, and now he's just hanging out on the patio all the time. And I talked to him, and I think he's just used to seeing me and my voice and hearing me and stuff, so he knows that I'm not a threat to him. But in this garden, I got mostly shrubs, arborvitae, boxwoods. I do plant some annuals like the tithonia and cosmos for color. I got a crepe myrtle here, and then I have more morning glory on this obelisk. And there's a lilac up front there in front of that trumpet vine. And then pink muhly grass. I got Texas salvia. And I just made some new artwork with some Texas salvia. You can check that out. Some new shadow boxes. They came out really pretty. I was off from my day job the week of Labor Day, so I was able to make some new artwork, and I used some of that in there. And then we have this tithonia is blooming. This is they call the Mexican sunflower, and they're just beautiful, that bright orange. And some cosmos coming in finally, and I got a little sunflower there in the back. So, and then over here is another trumpet vine. So, and then I have lemon balm and more cosmos.